Hey Falcons fans, let's get the latest updates as we look ahead to the team's future. Before we dive into today's big topic, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any breaking news or exclusive updates. Now, let's talk about something that could change the future of our beloved Atlanta Falcons. We've all been waiting for that one player who would change the game and give the Falcons defense the spark it was missing. Matthew Judon was supposed to be that guy when Atlanta made the trade, but unfortunately, things didn't pan out the way many of us had hoped. So, what's next for the Falcons' defensive line? Well, there's a homegrown talent who could be the answer we've been looking for. Gone are the days when the Falcons overlooked Georgia Bulldogs players just because they were from our backyard. We've seen how dominant Georgia football has been under Kirby Smart, and it's clear that some of these Bulldogs are destined for success in the NFL. The Falcons could seriously benefit from targeting a UGA player in the upcoming draft, especially considering the depth of talent available. Now, while safety Malachi Starks could be an intriguing addition to Atlanta's secondary, his draft positioning is a bit of a question mark. Some analysts have him as a top 16 pick, while others think he could fall to the late part of the first round. But here's the thing, Atlanta's biggest need right now is at pass rusher, and that's where a familiar name comes into play. Jalen Walker. Walker is the guy to watch. ESPN's Jordan Reed recently teased him to the Falcons at number 15 in his NFL draft prediction, and I couldn't agree more. While Michael Williams, another UGA product, fits the prototypical pass rusher role, he's expected to be drafted well ahead of Atlanta's number 15 picks. That's where Walker stands out as the perfect fit. So why should the Falcons prioritize Jalen Walker over Georgia's other stars? For starters, he's an incredibly instinctive player. He has a natural ability to disrupt offenses and completely disrupt their game plans. Think about the impact he could have on Atlanta's defense. The Falcons need a player who can make an immediate difference, and Walker is that guy. Now, we know how important it is to get first-round picks right, especially when you look at some of Terry Fontenot's successful selections in recent years. From Kyle Pitts to Drake London to Bijan Robinson to Michael Penix Jr., the Falcons front office has made some solid moves on offense. But let's not forget about defense. After all, a strong defense is what can propel Atlanta to the next level, and Jalen Walker could be the missing piece. Think back to 2017, when the Falcons had a chance to draft T.J. Watt but went with Takkarist McKinley instead. We all know how that turned out. Walker could be the kind of player who fills that void, a disruptive force who can change the course of games. He won the Butkus Award, joining a prestigious group of linebackers like Roquan Smith and Nakobe Dean, who have gone on to have stellar NFL careers. There's a lot to like about Walker, and his potential in Atlanta is sky high. Sure, the Georgia connection might add some extra pressure, but when you look at how well Georgia players have translated to the NFL in recent years, it's hard to ignore the trend. Walker is a low-risk, high-reward pick who could pay off big for the Falcons. I'm convinced Jalen Walker is the right choice for Atlanta, but I want to hear from you, Falcons Nation. Do you think Walker is the answer to the Falcons' pass rushing problem? Or should Atlanta consider a different direction? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. It's been 7 long years since the Atlanta Falcons made the postseason, and the sting of last season's overtime losses still stings. The team is so close to breaking through, but these near misses have been incredibly frustrating. The good news? With the right offseason moves, the Falcons can finally put themselves back in playoff contention. Today, I'm going to talk about the 3 biggest positional needs for this team heading into 2025 and the solutions that could take this roster to the next level. We're talking about potential draft picks and free agent acquisitions that could make all the difference. So let's start with the first, and perhaps most pressing, need for this team, a pass rusher. 1. Amp up the pass rush. The Falcons have been trying to generate a consistent pass rush for years, but it just isn't working. Since the departure of John Abraham, this team has struggled to find a true difference maker at the edge. Sure, we had that one good season from Vic Beasley, but we all know that wasn't sustainable, especially when you consider the guidance he received from Dwight Freeney. The reality is that the Falcons haven't been able to consistently pressure opposing quarterbacks, and that's something they need to fix if they want to compete for a playoff spot. This offseason, pass rusher has to be the top priority. Yes, the team brought in Matthew Judon last year, but his impact didn't match expectations, and the trade didn't produce the results many of us hoped for. So what's next? The draft offers a perfect opportunity to address this need, and one name that stands out is Georgia linebacker Jalen Walker. But the Falcons shouldn't rely solely on the draft to fix their pass rush. There's still a lot of talent left in free agency, and one player who could make a huge impact is Chase Young. The former Washington Commanders defensive end has the potential to become a game-changer for Atlanta. He's been a bit inconsistent, but he's still young, and he has the talent to be a force off the edge. If the Saints let him walk, the Falcons should pounce on the opportunity to sign him and solidify that pass rush. 2. Help Michael Penix Jr. with the receiving game. Now, let's talk about Michael Penix Jr., the new face of the Falcons offense. In his first few starts for Atlanta, Penix showed flashes of brilliance. Sure, the Falcons only won one of his 3 starts, but both of those losses came in overtime, with Penix never even having a chance to possess the ball. The talent is there, he can make all the throws, and his ability to fit passes into tight windows is something special. But to help Penix reach his full potential, he needs another weapon in the passing game. Drake London is a star, and Darnell Mooney has proven himself to be a reliable target, but the Falcons need to add another playmaker to the receiving core. Ray McLeod III was solid in an expanded role last season, but with Rondale Moore out for the year, it's clear the Falcons could use one more dynamic weapon. That's why I'm excited about Oregon wide receiver Tez Johnson. Johnson is explosive with the ball in his hands, and his ability to take the top off defenses makes him a perfect fit for Atlanta. In free agency, I think the Falcons should take a chance on Mecole Hardman, the speedy wideout from the Kansas City Chiefs. Hardman would bring that much-needed speed and big play ability to Atlanta's offense, and given his history with the Chiefs, he'd be a great addition to complement London and Mooney. 3. Solidify the secondary. Finally, let's talk about the Falcons' secondary. While there were some solid performances from players like Jesse Bates III, Justin Simmons, and A.J. Terrell, the secondary still had its issues, especially toward the end of the season. Richie Grant and D. Alford struggled, and while Mike Hughes and Clark Phillips III showed promise, the unit as a whole needs improvement. To really solidify the secondary, the Falcons should look to add another cornerback, and a player like Ohio State's Denzel Burke could be a great option in the draft. Burke is a potential immediate impact player, and with his physicality and ball skills, he could help take the Falcons' secondary to the next level. But let's be real, depending too heavily on a rookie cornerback might be risky, so adding a proven veteran would be a smart move. That's where Dallas Cowboys cornerback Jordan Lewis comes in. Lewis is a veteran who's proven himself in the league, and with the uncertainty surrounding the Cowboys roster, he could be a prime target for the Falcons in free agency. His experience and ability to cover in tight spaces would be a huge asset to Atlanta's defense. If they can land Jalen Walker or Michael Williams in the draft, sign Chase Young in free agency, add a dynamic receiver like Tez Johnson or Mecole Hardman, and solidify the secondary with a player like Denzel Burke or Jordan Lewis, this team could be poised to make a serious playoff push in 2025. What do you think, Falcons Nation? Are these the right moves to make? Do you have any other suggestions for the team this offseason? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Falcons news and analysis. Go Falcons!